Lincoln and his sometimes Oliver Stone buddy Dugan probably figure they have the queer bait pontificating for pussy. Well, if you look at the whole thing from my point of view, you'll see why I regard the status of being a political prisoner as extending to across the Ohio State, where the Ohio State Board of Corrections, say judicial system, Alexei Navalny, Mackenzie Shirella. For example, if you look at the situation with the way that the arguments line up between me and her, being surrounded, poisoned, our ages, what happened. You can see the cunning of the New York Bar Association, Kerry Kennedy and her minions. If you look at it carefully, you see that when Penis Gabriel was bothering me, it never occurred to me at all, not once, that they would be talking to, I mean, I got the idea that they're going around the bars and talking to the people who tortured me. But I didn't get the idea that they were talking to Penis McCartney or Penis Ringo Starr, or any of those other people. Now, if you look at the language and the way they use language, you realize that when Sean Penn said smelt the metals of the Oscar that he was given to make bullets for the people bombing Gaza who said we're on in Ukraine. And Putin said something about midgeon, spit out a midge. This was when COVID got started and stuff. It was clear that they were designing a rock and a hard place. Trumpy Toon and Putin and Biden were saying, we'll just smush all the little, it's what happened was all of the people who have arms turned on all of the unarmed people, when said want to make some of it. Like this is a defect in what Granger Morgan and Miles Kirshner have gotten away with. You see, they have these, tag teams that go around the country. And Clint Eastwood says, get the linguistic anthropology. Find out who taught him how to say doggone and see if he says it with the right intonation. And these are, these Wise brothers go around and they emoji themselves. They're the armed men who've turned on the unarmed people. Which is, they kicked my door down, robbed me. They made off with my girlfriend. They tortured me and they got away with it. And then they say, well, we're more kinfolk to your mama. They're more kinfolk to your mama. So, obviously these ruthless stupids are unhinged. Did they rip or murdered a girl in Seattle over a penny, they think? A penny of not tellness. Don't tell on us about the AIDS experiment on Mount Desert Island. Well, this gets to be beating a dead horse. I mean, everybody knows Mackenzie was car bombed so they could make out by association that queer ball because he was tortured by the same neurochemical. Because Lindsey Graham told Watmaker, you can use nerve agents on little people in Ohio and Pittsburgh to your heart's content, Zionist Watmaker. Believe me, we want the money of you and your satanic research. So they poison young women and little boys with the blessings of Lindsey Graham and Joe Biden to watch the tea kettle go up. That's what they say. Watch the tea kettle go up. Then they go into print media and surround it. They frame it. They talk about the magic formulas they're making. McConnell tells her, don't say a word because they can't prove nothing. It smashes into a wall and it slaps out the people who are going to give him prosecuting attorney's officer, for the district. Yeah, thanks. Inside, wink, wink. We made that elixir just right. And then they say, oh, but Queerball, he supports the chestnut behemoth. He listens and tweets that Putin said something sarcastically hilarious. Well, Putin is an insider in the group of people who never said anything about Gail Burstyn and Leslie Katz. See, you got that right. Trumpy, Tune, and Putin are slapping five about it because they've moved on. You see, they've boiled us with COVID, and they've moved on. They've still got armies. They've still got interests. Loot is loot. To the winners go the spoils. This is a distribution thing. Phew, Russian roulette. Boom, boom, boom. Clint Eastwood style. What has happened is all the people with weapons have turned on all the people who are weak and helpless. Does that sound familiar? We're back in those old days again. You got it. We're back in the days of the hidden poachers of the 50-50 non-aggression pact. Now, my position on Gaza is my position on the Jews of Europe during World War II. Let's not make any mistake about that. So, while these precious weasels who do like this to terrorism, they have threatened me with HIV. They have ripped or murdered an innocent woman. They car bombed Mackenzie Shirley. They went over Robert Fripp's postcard. They sent in somebody named Robert Card to shoot up a bowling alley. And then they went to everybody who was in a position to protest and said, wink, wink, wink. And they all said, yeah, sure, Sonny. Lindsey Graham has already told us what to do. Now, they weasel monger all sorts of thusly. You ever hear of spyware? They think that they can spy. When I was writing, when penis was bothering me, penis Gabriel, I had only the interest of trying to get constructive peer review of my own writing because I was semi-interested in intellectual promotion of that horrible monster, King Crimson, that I don't like at all anymore. I mean, because the music, well, there's a vocabulary. It's called a syntax of, you know, learning sequences in the way that they operate that are interesting to get exercise from. When you do your practice, the syncopations and that. Well, so I knew that some of the riffraff were mongering stuff, and they're backstabbing me. Oh, Fetterman and his car thieves. We're saying could have saved John Lennon. Oh, Swimmer had him on her bed. Growing up, when I was 15 years old, this horrible crying, weeping, can I sleep here? You know, it's like, oh, okay, sure. Do you need help? I mean, her concierge would come to my mother's Christmas party. Of all the people that she was sleeping with, they chose me to say that I was abusive. This was all a setup of the Gonzalez people, Eric and Claire Martin Handelman, and the Croquet Reguster in New York with Brian Richmond at Warhol. Had it all set up because Yoko Ono wanted revenge on me because of my father. It was World War II revenge. And John Lennon had the Eastwood Hollywood jet set with Reagan, who assassinated Kennedy, and they pulled the plug. John Lennon used to go talk about the Hare Krishna dudes. He obviously got a kick out of them saying, he said, maybe you'll get #1. And they'd say, we'll get higher than that. We'll get higher than that. Well, it was really not Lennon's thinking. You think this is so cool to be out here in the spotlight. Where do you see me after I Houdini? That's the real big show, and it was. Register was being symbolized when they used the fourth dimension to promote the Japanese girl for victory in the Third World War at Beijing 2022 skating Olympics. That's what that was about. They've developed a whole set of symbolic things in language. They own every sound that you can make. They think every sound that you can make is copywritten them. So they get it down to phonemes, linguistic phonemes. You see them in your environment when they trigger you to think about an association that's intended. It's not only corporate capture, it's linguistic capture. And you can see what they mean. They dust the board of everybody who believed that in safe sex. They dusted the board of everybody who was too old for their body to hold up against COVID-19. Now they're dusting the board of all the elderly women and children in Gaza, and they're dressed up like Darth Vader. You can see these Darth Vader Israelis and Zionists in armor beating up Jews who say, please show some decency. The Palestinians have been our neighbors for decades. Show some decency. And these Darth Vader motherfuckers come in and beat them to the ground. They're going to surround this place here in Tacoma with Fetterman's Darth Vaders. They think I'm going to crumple before that. You see, in the past, I have badgered people for my right to liberty, health, safety from crime. These people think we're politics, not crime. When they rip or murder a girl, then when they shoot up a bowling alley, we're politics, not crime. When they murdered Cersei Kennedy, they actually had this fallback position. When Princess Diana got snuffed in a spyware fandango, and they connected the dots to my hooliganism because I was trying to share my gifts and learn from some people who, at the time, I really loved. I hitchhiked from Pittsburgh to St. Louis just to hear that asshole play his guitar. And he thinks I want his car back? Enough. Then they're sitting there gurgling, oh, we got the car now. And they show up a bowling alley as promotion. And he rubber stamps it for Roger Waters, for the New World Order. And I needed to get to the bottom of it, getting the copy into press. It's a monthly thing I have to finance at storychecks.org. But, then people think I'm going to weasel out of going into Seattle where I could get hurt in favor of a voice for Gaza because I'm afraid that my neck will get cut by Jews and nobody will learn the truth about my research. Well, that's behind me. Everybody knows about my research. I'm going into Seattle on Saturday to protest it. This must stop. People think I grew up in a Jewish community with Holocaust survivors and came away hating Jews. You're stupid. I came away learning the lessons of World War II. And one of the lessons of World War II is that you do not abandon people to a fucking genocide. So how are your ludicrous spoof on Clint Eastwood's movie accents into Mel Brooks, where it belongs. You stupid, demoralizing so called community.